What's up, everybody? Welcome to the EZPZ podcast, episode 05050. Coming at you swiftly, hardly, bigly, anything that Trump adds Lee to. This is a big deal. This is episode 50. We're in the brand new studio that's still being put together and art being hung on walls and cords being plugged into outlets and whatever. But at my house, Lydia and I just bought a house. It is October 29th. Halloween party. Helluva Halloween party is about to blow off this freaking roof. Now I'm going to have to buy a new roof. But anyway, at the beginning right here, we've got Dan. What's up, Dan?
What's going on?
Dan's joining me.
Good to be back.
Joining us in the beginning. Starting off here, we might add a couple of guests here shortly. Bigly. What's going on? What's up?
Not a whole lot.
Making good appearances.
Yeah.
Just been working.
Yeah.
Kind of grinding at the part-time gig.
Yeah. So
grinding with some fellow Des Moines artists.
Yeah, I can't say much about it. Well, yeah, let's dive into a couple of things. Right now, I'm working with a couple of Des Moines artists. Can't say much about it, but there will be at least one album EP coming out that I am helping produce, which is dope. There will be definitely more information on that coming out soon in the upcoming months. I was over at this person's house and we already recorded 8 tracks.
Dang.
So we're going to try to record about 15 to 20 and just put it down to about like 8 to 10 tracks. So we already got like 4 that we're really happy with, 4 that we're kind of iffy with, but we got that going on. Besides that, solo music stuff, I kind of slowed down on that since I'm so busy doing other people's stuff. Not technically other people's stuff, but helping produce for other people. That's taken up a lot of my time. But yeah, besides that, I'm only working part-time now, so that I have...
Looking for that full-time gig.
Yeah,
now.
I'm still looking for a full-time job, or at least another part-time, but I'm trying to use my time wisely, this free time wisely, extra free time, to just focus on music and focus on just getting back on track. So that's been really helpful.
For sure.
One thing I have been getting into with my extra time has been TV shows.
Yeah.
So I think on an episode that I was not here for, you were talking about Westworld.
Yeah.
So
are you caught up?
Yeah, there's a new episode tomorrow, obviously.
Yeah, so is that 4 tomorrow or 5?
I want to say that's 4, and I've been looking it up, and I heard that's the episode that shit just goes down.
Dang.
So I've seen
no spoilers, of course.
Yeah.
I need all of our lemon heads out there, but that show is insane. I'm only 2 episodes in.
I always look on Reddit and stuff afterwards, and a lot of people were complaining too that like the first 3 episodes were like slower than they wanted. I mean, there's still tons of action going on in these hour-long episodes. But now we're 3 hours in for the season, and some people were complaining. But then a lot of people were saying that, according to the director and everything, this is the episode that gets extra crazy. So I can't wait to watch that.
There's a lot of stuff too, like Reddit, like you're saying, just the fandom behind it, like the theories that people are already trying to like disperse onto the internet, like the Men in Black, Ed Harris, who is a great actor. This is a crazy show. Like the cast is in itself with just these 2 names. Anthony Hopkins and Ed Harris. Just those 2 in itself is insane.
And why I have such high hopes, and you're saying it's such an in-depth show, is because they stopped production of this show in the middle of the first season. And I guess people weren't sure why at first, but it's because they wanted to plan out every episode through like the first 5 or 6 seasons, which a lot of shows don't do. They just go season to season.
I heard that 3 seasons in.
Okay.
But still, yeah.
Yeah, enough seasons that, yes, this show is in depth, and normally I might have doubts because I'm a huge critic when it comes to television or movies, but I know that they've planned it out far enough that it has to come at least half circle, full circle, whatever, that I'll be content with at least the first few years of the show. Yeah,
that's pretty cool because HBO, of all people, to build out a show multiple seasons like that, is kind of interesting because they just rolled the dice on that show Vinyl last year, and then they canceled it after 1 season. I mean, it was a fine show, but it was there's just a lot going wrong. Like a lot that went wrong that shouldn't have gone wrong probably for a show like that is just so original, like 1960s, 70s music era. But anyway, Westworld, very good.
Great show.
I'm not caught up. The Man in Black has got me intrigued with his side quest and whatnot. And then other characters too. It's just so interesting to see, like, it's straight up is the acting and the writing to be able to see like the same kind of stuff each day that is in the show, without spoiling, this is all stuff you find out in the first like hour, half hour.
Yeah.
But like with just the acting and the writing is phenomenal. And besides Westworld, I'm also watching.
Keeping what? I just got into last night Atlanta, Donald Glover's new show on FX. It's only what I was just talking about with Sean before we recorded. Is that what I kind of like is I'm so accustomed now to these huge behemoth episodes that are an hour long that I really have to sit down and like get all my snacks for and grab my beer and make sure that I have nothing else that's going to happen in the next hour. It's nice having a show that's only 20 minutes long.
Isn't that crazy? You have to cap out like a whole like night really for one show, maybe two.
Yeah. I mean, those shows are really in depth. And
it's really rare for me to have more than 2 hours at once, like free.
Oh yeah, agreed.
Unless it's like Saturday, which not even then. Like you have to clean, you have to shop, or go grocery shopping.
So last night I saw the first 4 episodes. All right, so I guess we had issues with this first little segment.
What I think is happening, Dan, is that I'm downloading like the new Mac OS Sierra. So somehow that messed it up. And we just lost like a good chunk of like recording that we were doing. Talking about, Westworld, sipping on this awesome beer, Exile Peachberry Bohemian. If you're in Des Moines, go check them out.
Great beer.
Talking about Westworld, Atlanta. What were we at?
We were talking about iPhones. We were talking about PlayStation VRs. We were talking about Louis C.K.
Hey, it's okay though because we retreaded some ground, right? Like we were talking about VR.
Let's rewind. Let's
go.
And talk about what actually matters today. This weekend, it's Halloween. Today, I did not go to any haunted houses, unfortunately, but I was with my friend Ian, who's been on the show. This is episodes ago, but
episode 13.
There wasn't much to do. I mean, there's not much to do during the day. But Ian and I went on a nice casual stroll through the cemetery, just talking about life, which is always I always find it fairly relaxing and intriguing to walk through a cemetery, and it always kind of like brings you back down to earth. To make you realize that we're all going to be dead someday.
No,
not to get all somber, but
hey, it is Helluva Halloween weekend.
Yeah, but so that's what I did today. What have you done so far? Have you gone to any Halloween?
My work and I, Wells Fargo, I have an awesome manager that always tries to do every quarter like a really cool team outing. So this last team outing, we went to a pumpkin patch, which I haven't been to one for like 15 years. 26 years old, but like I had so much fun just walking through this giant pumpkin patch, looking for the perfect pumpkin, which I found, which is outside in the living room at my house right now. All my all the homies all over. You should see this guest list for this party, Dan. It's insane.
I'm the guest that matters. I'm here first. We're recording.
Yeah, for sure. But anyway, all my friends, lots of good guys, good gals coming in town. Gonna see this awesome pumpkin. As far as other things for Halloween, Lydia's been buying a whole bunch of fun goodies and setting stuff up. We just set up some spiderweb downstairs. Yep. Dude, I just love Halloween because it's just like, this is fall. We're at fall, like...
Fall is my favorite season.
Oh, yeah. I love the jacket weather, sweater weather. Like, there's
favorite memories are in fall.
It seems like that's just always the case. Like, no matter how many music festivals I go to, the fall and just everything about it, the nice brisk air, not like freaking dying of heat. You can go outside.
It's like, I don't know.
Jump in a pile of leaves.
All my favorite memories are all just in fall.
Yeah.
Just like whenever I think or I'm reminiscent of any time really, it's like, there's like that good fall memory.
For sure. So this is going to be a Halloween party, Helluva Halloween at Sean and Lydia's house. Just bought the house. Haven't even set up the studio yet, but hey, we're going to have a costume requirement to get into the party, right? But we got DJ Danny Brown over here, like, not dressed up. What's up with that?
I did not dress up.
But did you, like, do this your whole life? Like, what's up with that?
I actually had Halloween plans outside of this, and I was supposed to go with somebody, and we were supposed to dress up as each other. But that fell through, so I'm here now. But, I did not have
I'm sorry to put you on the spot for all
No, it's all good. It's all good. I would say my best, what I always love doing, or what I've always found the funniest is dressing up as like friends and like going as them or like doing that. Brian, hands up Brian.
Yeah.
Inside joke, sorry guys. But yes, Brian, I dressed up as Brian back in high school. I went to his parents, this is back in high school, of course. Me and my friend.
So he wasn't as tall.
Yeah, so me and my, no, he was still tall.
6'5".
Yeah, 7 foot.
Yeah.
But I went over to his parents' house and while he was gone and just put on his clothes and showed up to a party that he was at, just dressed up as him. It's a great time.
I think that kind of thing works best for somebody like you. Someone else to dress up like you, to wear your clothes, would work because you have this like signature plain tee, jeans, plain tee, same shoes, same like high top sneakers, and the jacket. You wear the jacket until it's like 75 degrees out. Like you don't care.
I haven't worn the jacket at all this season though.
Why?
I haven't busted it out yet.
With all this moving, like I've missed so many good opportunities to bust out my like members onlys and my other jackets. Like,
see, I haven't. I mean, obviously, I had it during this past winter.
No, I said I've missed opportunity also.
Yeah, but since the summer, I have not busted out my signature fake leather jacket.
Yeah. So for the lemon heads at home, the faux leather, RL Grime, like.
Tis the season for RL Grime's Halloween mix, which came out on the 28th.
We're going to revisit this later on in the episode here shortly when Brandon and Alex Cruz show up. Hopefully we can get them in here for a quick recording because like I said, a whole bunch of people about to show up. We're about to throw down for Helluva Halloween party. Get down. We have a cool prize for #1 costume that Dan and I just picked up. But yeah. After they get here, we'll definitely dive into the Halloween 5 mix.
Okay, but you don't have to dive into it. For all the listeners who don't know, every Halloween, his producer, RL Grime.
Let's frame it for him. Let's build it.
Yeah. His producer, RL Grime, he always comes out with really fucking good mix, a DJ mix. It's usually an hour and a half long. And it usually has lots of unreleased music. It's always hype. It always gets you pumped up for the season. And he has, since his name is RL Grime, he always has RL Stein say some stuff in the beginning or in the middle. He started off with the first few mixes with RL Stein introducing the episodes, but now he kind of has them placed in the middle. Anyways, I listened through it without giving anything away. It was really good.
So you've been a huge fan of RL Grime for a long time.
Yeah,
all 5 years.
Like 2011, 2012.
Yeah, so like all 5 years of his his Halloween mix.
Yes. And I saw him in 2012. Best show I've ever been to.
Hands down.
Dang. It was the birth. He produces trap music, and it was kind of the birth of trap music. So it was my first trap show, and it was basically all music I had never heard before. So imagine an hour and a half of trap music you've never heard. I mean, the energy, it was basically that. So, I mean, the energy of that show, I remember, was just absolutely insane. And I have videos of it, too. And it was just absolutely bonkers.
Dude,
best show I've seen.
Let's dive into that so we can put a pin in the RL Grime. Let's dive into our favorite shows, just recent memory. Because when I think of favorite shows, I mean, a few come to my mind. Favorite performances, I mean, there's been a few at music festivals, but not really. All my favorite performances and shows are at festivals, obviously outside. So, you just said RL Grime 2012. I wasn't friends with you. I had met you, I think, but I don't think we had become friends. So I wasn't aware of RL Grime. I wasn't aware of really EDM in 2012. So
okay, so let's break this down if we want to make a list. So my favorite,
every year I do a list.
So my favorite, overall club electronic music show, RL Grime. Okay. Not including a festival. Okay. What is your favorite electronic club type?
So I'd have to sit back. I'd have to go through my pictures. I'd have to go through Instagram or whatever. Your freaking yearly yearbook. Just really get a good idea of what is my favorite. I mean, every time I've seen Every Time I Die, I've had such a great time.
I'm talking electronic artists though.
Oh, electronic.
Yeah. Strictly. Let's move down.
No festivals.
No festivals. Favorite electronic act.
I was just thinking about earlier this year, January. We saw Sam Gellatry and Mr. Carmack. That was tons of fun just because the whole night was just awesome, magical.
Great energy.
We stayed up late. We had great conversations before and after the show. We all went into it loving both of those artists, loving them.
So that's high up on your list.
So high. And then also, first time I ever saw RL Grime, 2013
in Omaha,
July. I skipped going to Warped Tour that year. And I missed out on seeing a whole bunch of great bands. The Wonder Years, I believe, Citizen, a lot of great bands at that year. Citizen, Youth was such a great album. Like, oh my god, I just actually listened to it again yesterday. But I skipped Warped Tour to go see an electronic show. I'd never really been like a fan of electronic shows at all, but I just got into it the month prior. So this was July that we went and saw RL Grime in Omaha. And the month prior, I went to California, started listening to electronic music, and went to like this crazy rave, which I've never been to. Shout out to Tyler Olson, friend of the show. So skip Warped Tour, go see RL Grime in Omaha. Yeah. All the greatest friends are like there. We had Nick Hamilton from Omaha. He was out there. That is probably my favorite. Probably my favorite show. Yeah.
Okay, so then moving on from that, let's talk non-electronic artists, not in a festival. I would have to say, first time I ever saw The Chariot, Vaudeville Muse. Yo, that show was insane. I've seen The Chariot 4 times, I think, and I know you've seen them countless times as well.
I've seen them at least 3 or 4 times. Dude, The Chariot still has like a huge place in my heart.
Chills thinking about their performances. If you don't know, just watch a couple of their live videos. They're a metal band. That's a broad term.
Right.
I'm not good with genres. They're basically a hardcore metal band, whatever you want to call it. And they aren't a band anymore, so unfortunately you can't see them.
Josh Scogan, the lead vocalist of that band, is now the lead vocalist and rhythm guitar, I believe, or just guitar of a band called 68'68", like just the numbers. That band is great too, and they should have new stuff coming out soon. Friend of the show gave me some details on that. I won't say his name, but
so would you agree with me that The Chariot is one of your favorite non-electronic acts to see live?
I can totally tell you exact show that I think that The Chariot wow.
Iowa City?
Crazy. It was Iowa City, Blue Moose,
with
Silverstein, Pierce the Veil, Silverstein.
Yes, I was there.
January.
This is before I knew you. Yes.
Dude, isn't that crazy? I think we've had this conversation before, even a year before, or prior to this. But, holy crap. That show.
Yeah, he started, Steven, the guitarist, he started the show by holding onto the ceiling with a megaphone. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
And he started just
Steven Revis, if you follow, I'm still following him on Instagram.
Yes, and that was such a good show. But, okay, so besides, and we all know you're a huge Every Time I Die fan.
For sure.
So let's maybe drift away from that. Besides The Chariot, besides Every Time I Die, is there any artist that you've seen live that you're like, wow, that's not an festival?
Let's go. Yeah, let's dip it back a little bit. You just brought up the Silverstein, so I love Silverstein, but obviously I'm a little older now. I fell out of that kind of genre, screamo, emo type genre. And also another band, Bayside. I used to love Bayside. I used to think that was gonna be my band. I'm never gonna stop listening to. Totally have, just like Silverstein. It's not like they release bad music. It's just I've kind of veered away from that music.
Everyone has stages of their musical life.
Yeah. So at People's Court, rest in peace, People's Court, Silverstein and Bayside had this co-headlining tour, and it was, I just remember I knew every song of both of those artists, and it was just such a great show.
This must have been 5 some years ago. Right?
It was 2009 or 10. And it was the Self-Help Tour, which is a suicide prevention company that was sponsoring it. But yeah, it was such a great show. I still have the t-shirt and has all the tour dates on the back in my stores somewhere. But also one other show I want to give a shout out to is Armor for Sleep in Seosin. Oh my god, I love those 2 artists too. Bands, I should say. So let's drift away from favorite shows and think about because of the performances and because of the atmosphere, and let's move towards favorite festival act.
Okay.
Just because we're riffing here, boys and girls, lemon heads. Episode 50. The podcast already cut out when we had a whole bunch of juicy content for you, but we're just we're riffing. So what's up? Let's talk about this.
I would have to say favorite festival act would have to be that I've seen, not favorite show. I just saw Cashmere Cat. That was a really, really good.
So was that the artist that you saw, Malia Obama?
Yeah, that was the one. That was a really good set. And even adding more to that. Not to say that getting drunk or anything adds to the experience or makes the music better, but I was completely sober during that, and I thought it was an amazing set.
Dude, that's the best. Like, I can't go to any shows unless it's like a weekend thing and like just start drinking. Like, I just went and saw Touche and Fanagram like in the same week, just a couple episodes ago. I was
with you to see Fanagram.
Yeah, but I mean, like in 2 days, Thursday to Saturday, I saw two of my favorite artists, top 25 or 50. And I didn't drink at all, like at either show.
Yeah.
Like
it's a different experience, but
totally.
If the artist is good enough, you will not get bored during it.
Right.
You will not. But besides, that was the first one that came to mind just because it's the most recent. I did go to Lollapalooza
single day
3-4 years ago. I did go to it 3-4 years ago, which is really the only big festival I've gone to. And honestly, I was pretty much just, I remember seeing the big headliners I went to see for the electronic music that I remember were Avicii and Justice. And I remember both of them were really good. I also saw Frank Ocean. Oh, you know who I saw? One that comes to mind, The Weeknd.
Oh.
I did see him
before his new album.
I saw him in 2012 at Lollapalooza. That was really, really good. And I also saw that completely sober as well. So that's why I know that was really good. Besides that, nothing else really comes to mind, but I haven't gone to that many festivals. You, on the other hand, have gone to a lot of festivals.
Lots.
So first one that just comes off tip of the tongue.
Well, I mean, you can't go. I can't go talk about any other artists until I talk about Skrillex. Because 2015 Forest, we were just listening to that again, like for the 50th time. Lydia and I earlier today, setting up for this party, getting things ready. Just that 2015 performance at Electric Forest, Friday night, or no, I think it was Saturday night. Either way, it was just, so insane.
I have not seen him. Out of all the artists I've seen, I have not seen him.
And dude, this year at Somerset, he played Sunday night, which sucks because, it's the last day of the festival, but oh my God.
Hey,
I think I snapped my neck.
Not to switch subjects, but are you seeing Diplo tomorrow?
No.
Okay, same. I have to work.
I don't have Monday off. I don't explicitly love Diplo. I think he's kind of a douchebag. When it comes to Jack U, I feel like if you watch any live performance of Jack U, any single one, it's Skrill behind the deck and it's him being the hype man. Like, does he actually have talent?
Yes,
like,
I've heard from multiple producers that he's incredibly talented.
What's the deal? He just doesn't like to perform. He likes to be the hype man.
With any duo that's DJing, everyone knows you only need to have really one person to DJ.
Sure.
So for duos, you do need to have chemistry. So, for Jack U, he might be more of the hype man. But he does countless shows by himself.
Okay.
I think
it's good to hear from somebody I respect.
I've heard that he is kind of a douche, but I've also heard that he's incredibly talented. I've never met the guy.
At least he's not on the dead mouse of fucking level. Like, he is a douche.
Yeah, but dead mouse is just a troll in general.
He's trash. I hate him. He had the most boring set for a headliner I've ever seen at Somerset 2015.
It's not my type of music in general.
It was just it was literally so boring. Like, I fell asleep during it almost.
One big electronic act, we keep resorting back to electronic music, I guess. It's so prevalent in today's society, and we both really love it. Bass Nectar. I've seen Bass Nectar like 5 or 6 times. Have you ever seen Bass Nectar?
So I've seen Bass Nectar 5 or 6 times also. I'm not a bass head. Like, I don't worship the guy. I have so much respect for him. I think he's never had like bad publicity for any reason. Like,
no, he's a really humble guy. And
he doesn't ghost. He doesn't like have ghost producers, which for people at home, can you?
It's basically a producer making music for another producer, and that producer is putting out the music with saying that
it's there.
Yeah, saying it's their own music.
Like using paying somebody else to make the music.
Yeah, so you're basically paying someone to make music for you and just saying it's your own music.
So that's the thing.
Without giving any credit whatsoever.
Yeah, and so Bass Nectar, I saw him last year twice. I saw him at Forest last year, 2015, and at Somerset last year, I believe, and then this year, we saw him at Forest, and it was unbelievable. Like, we had our entire crew there, and like our entire crew of like 15 to 20 people were at in like this giant camp. But like the thing is, like throughout the whole weekend, weeks leading up to Forest, everyone's like, "No, we aren't gonna go." Like, or a lot of people are like, "No, we're gonna skip Base Nectar. We're gonna go."
Oh, that's a terrible idea. That's a terrible idea.
Skip Base Nectar for somebody else, just because like there's so much like a lot of people have like animosity towards him just because he's at the number one. He's like number one in the game.
Oh, I mean, I would say I've never seen a bad performance from him.
I will say I've had a bad time at a Base Nectar show.
I will say that as well, but
fall 2013.
We won't dive into that.
For a million reasons.
But yes, he's a great performer as well.
Great dude. That's what, and that kind of comes back, and that's a big deal to me.
But yeah, moving on from music.
Let's tread the water with the election here. I don't think I've gotten your ideas on it, and I don't want you to be like the normal Dan input on something that doesn't like super duper interest him, where you're just like, I don't know.
Okay, here's what I'm gonna say.
Okay,
is I am not a fan of Trump, and I'm not a fan of Clinton.
But why?
Because Clinton, she knows how to work the system. And there's a lot of sketchy things she's done in the past.
She's a career politician.
When she was Secretary of State, wasn't she? Secretary of State, yes. There was like so many fucking like wars and shit that people died. There was like that civil war in I want to say like Libya, Syria or something, and there was hundreds, thousands people who like died. It was an insane amount of people who died. And there's all these like email scandals and all this stuff. And then Trump, obviously, I mean, no one has anything good to say about him.
Yeah, biggest piece of shit ever.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about the biggest piece of shit ever, it's Trump.
He's really like a slug, like piece of shit. So something recently I've been like getting into is reading really, really good editorials. There was a really amazing one on Cracked. You can just Google it, Cracked editorial on why we need to be empathetic to Trump supporters, and just kind of like have some respect for their thoughts and their beliefs and so forth on the whole situation. And it doesn't mean you have to be like respectful or like love Trump or anything, but just like be empathetic to them, because they are just blue collar people that feel like they've been like run over back and then backed over, for so long by all these career politicians, which, I mean, Hillary Clinton is just the pinnacle like career politician that especially like that's been running anytime soon. Obviously the country is better than it ever has been overall, as far as like crime. I
wouldn't say that.
It is like in general. I mean, we have like a huge rift between us. By us, I mean like between one sector of the country and the other, obviously, because I mean that's what happens on election year. Like people are going to be like Republican, Independent, and undecided, and then Democrat about everything, every single issue, from social to actual like political and so forth. But I mean, this podcast, I will say straight out, obviously endorses Clinton. Brandon Paulson, fellow host, who might be on here in a little bit. Huge Clinton supporter, actually. He caucused for her this year. I caucused for Bernie, but so we are definitely we put our lemons behind Clinton. So Dan, are you gonna vote November 8th?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You had me worried there because I've got some friends.
Okay. Here's my rule. I do not like really talk about politics. I don't like to talk about politics or religion much, just because I feel like there's always going to be someone else in the room who just has more statistics, more knowledge against you, so you're going to look like a fool when you bring it up.
And that's why people are scared to talk about those.
So that's one of my things. But what I will say is that unless you vote, you can't talk about politics.
You can't say shit.
Yeah, you can't. So I vote mainly because it allows me to not be a hypocrite, basically, so I can have a voice and I can complain. Because if you complain... This
is going to be your second election.
Second. Okay. I voted for Obama.
Same.
Last election.
Thanks, Obama.
But yeah, you cannot complain. I will say this straightforward. You cannot complain about anything in the political system unless you actually vote. Because if you are not voting and you're complaining, that's like having a messy room and complaining about it every single day and you just aren't cleaning it up. I mean, like, what the hell are you expecting? You know?
Right. Totally. No, I agree. And friend of the show, host of the show, Brandon Paulson, has really opened my eyes this election year, this election cycle, to how the state level matters so much. Like, there's a lot of things for just that affect us at home here in Des Moines,
Yes.
or in Iowa even, like as a statewide thing for on the ballot on November 8th here coming up. Only like under 10 days away. It's crazy to think about, but finally over, right? But yeah, we have to vote Grassley the fuck out, is all I'm trying to say. Get him out. He's a dirtbag conservative, but hey, if you listen to this podcast, you know we have strong opinions on things. So
Yes, we do. We're not afraid to say them.
yeah, we're not afraid to crack some lemon or squeeze some lemons. We gotta make that
Squeeze some
lemonade,
lemons,
you know?
slice some lemons, whatever it takes.
So
Fruit Ninja the lemons.
Fruit Ninja,
you know that
circa
game where you-
2012,
Yeah.
11.
Where you slice the fruit.
Oh, I know.
Oh. But anyways.
Cool announcement coming out on Halloween. I believe Halloween and November 1st, so Monday and Tuesday, Electric Holiday. The music festival going on December 29th and January 5th in Puerto Rico, which I just so happen to be in Puerto Rico on January 5th, so we bought our tickets, Lydia and I and friends. But on Monday and Tuesday, they are announcing some of their headliners and artists that are going to be playing at that festival. I want to say one thing and one thing only. Holy shit. It was so cheap for this. I know it's a single day, but like a single day at Decadence, which is the New Year's thing that we've been going to 2 years ago.
And Denver,
Colorado. $105, $130 for one day. This was $35 after fees.
Nice.
Puerto Rico, like, I wonder how much they're paying these artists.
So speaking of things we're like looking forward to, kind of as we're wrapping this episode up, it's kind of towards the end of the year. It's not the end of the year yet.
We got tons of family stuff, tons of holiday stuff coming up.
I will mention, before I forget, a show that I'm looking forward to that I was shown by a friend today. And then I'll ask you, like, what are your favorite things coming up? But there's an artist, Great Dane. Maybe you've heard of him, maybe not. Extremely bass-heavy music. He's coming to Grinnell, Iowa.
Hey!
He's coming to Grinnell, Iowa, December 2nd, so grab your tickets. But look who just walked in. It is Mario.
Brandon Paulson.
AKA Brandon Paulson.
We just had to dip our feet in the lemon juice, you know. We knew that. Hey, what's up? Kathy's here. We're family friend Kathy's here. What's up, Brandon? Let's get you a seat. We're going to put a pause on this, listeners at home. What's up, everybody? Welcome. Wait. We already did that. What's up? We're back. We had a brief pause because we have to get some more lemon heads up in here. As you can hear.
We're going to get some more beers.
Yeah, I was going to say, as you can hear, they just cracked a beer. Joining me this week, Alex
Cruz. Me.
You're gonna have to scoot up, boy.
Alright.
We have the single mic for now, but like I said, we might be boosting it, might be doing some more fun stuff as this studio office area gets put together. Pregnant pauses, always gotta have them. Dan's still here. What's up, Dan?
I'm still here.
He's still here.
Yep.
Still doesn't have a costume. Also, Brandon.
What up?
Mario.
What up?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, let's do it. Here we go.
Okay, wait. I don't think we've talked about this yet. Did you say who you're dressed
I'm
as?
Ness,
Okay.
baby. What's up?
So, yeah, let's go in a circle.
We got Ness here from Earthbound and Super Smash Brothers.
I'm Mario from Super Mario Brothers. Boom.
And
with
Super
Yoshi.
Smash?
With Yoshi.
Did you make that yourself?
I sure as hell did.
When did you?
Alright, explain to the listeners what we're looking at.
This is one of my EDC costumes, and I made a candy cup of Yoshi.
Dope. I love it. That's so candy.
It's very, very candy. It's very, very, very candy.
That's like a very valuable candy, too, because it's so big.
And elaborate.
It's like 20 candies wide, if anybody knows what we're talking about. And Alex Cruz.
I'm dressed up as Link from Zelda and Super Smash Brothers.
You
Yeah,
weren't supposed to
baby.
talk.
One of those.
Link doesn't talk.
Oh, yeah. You can't talk all night.
He just makes like yelps and shit.
Cool. Yeah, we're about to throw it down here. Helluva Halloween party. Like I said, been advertising it on the podcast that's going to be released after it. But hey, you know, what's up? So, you guys have some stuff to talk about. We've been eating up all the time on the airwaves here.
What have you guys been talking about?
We didn't talk about RL Grime's Halloween mix yet because we knew you
Well,
guys.
we kind of touched base on that.
We've been running around in circles. We talked about our favorite shows, like actual like concerts.
I haven't listened to the RL mix at all yet.
Okay. Well, you're going to hear it on repeat, yeah?
Those Uggs.
For the listeners at home, Link's got some actual Hyrulean boots.
I know, right?
Going down. That's dope. Do you have the hat?
Hover boots. Yeah, I have a hat.
Oh, yeah.
And I have ears too.
Cool.
And a master sword. But I didn't have time to make a healing shield or a mirror shield or anything like that. So no shield.
Dude,
no
but
Navi
it's still dope because we've got 3 players. We just need...
Colin's coming as Luigi.
No!
You guys have to all go in the backyard and duke it out.
No, we might have... I don't know if he was joking, but Daniel Turner, who was on episode 15 of the EZPZ podcast in town from San Francisco, he was joking about going as a GameCube. Which would be hilarious. That'd be so funny. But yeah, Colin Nicemanger, who I've tried getting on the podcast multiple times.
Mm-hmm. I convinced him. I talked to him today, and he said he's all down for being Super Smash Luigi.
Hell yeah. Super smashed.
Smashed, yeah.
We about to be. So, I want to hear about the Infected Mushroom Show.
Oh, dude, that was legit. The Infected Mushroom.
Where was that at?
The Infected Mushroom played Thursday night at the Blue Moose in Iowa City. They had support from Kong Speaks and Kane, I want to say. I think that sounds correct. Kane.
I don't think we caught much of Kane. I've never heard him before. Kong Speaks is dope, though. I think he's from Minnesota.
Both openers, I would say, did a hell of a show. And it wasn't really that filled in the Blue Moose like it has been for shows such as Savoy or some other shows I've been to at the Blue Moose. But it was mildly full. And it was a good crowd. Like, everyone respected each other. And Alex and I were talking on the way to Iowa City from Des Moines about the type of music Infected Mushroom play, because both of us had never heard their music
What made
before.
you want to go to it then?
Well, I've heard of them.
I've heard of them as well.
I've heard of them.
That they've been like staples in the
Weren't they
electronic
at, whatchamacallit, that music festival earlier this year?
Cosmos?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Um,
Anyway.
This is from what I understand, I don't know
First
if
time
there's
they played
truth to it, is the first time they played in Iowa.
Wow.
So I wanted to make, especially the journey, and the tickets were like $20. So
yeah. And it's always
So you had to
a short
work
trip to
Friday.
go to Iowa City.
I did have to work Friday. It was
Dang.
intense. But back to the show.
The important part.
Exactly. Basically, on our way down, we were discussing the type of music, and Alex discussed on how they were kind of psytrance-y, and that's how I actually got influenced into the electronic music genre, is through psytrance. So I was really looking forward to it, and then we got there, and it was something very, very different. Alex, if you want to take it from here.
I think it was like really psytrancey, but it was like a 4-piece live trance.
When you say side trance, what does that mean?
It's like dark trance music. I'm not
Like
saying-
horror themed?
No,
Not really horror thing.
no,
I can't.
no, it's
I can't even
Is it
put-
more like minor scales if you're like into like
Into music?
Yeah, is it like
I couldn't
more
tell
like,
you really what kind of scales they focused around. I would just be able to listen to a bit of what would be dubbed psytrance and be like, no, psytrance.
Okay, we'll have to listen after the show.
It's just like very
Listeners playing at home, open up a new tab on YouTube and dive into some side trance.
It's legit, yeah.
You might not be able to climb out of that hole.
That is true.
It was a big old dance party though, and they had a dude on synthesizers and keyboards. They had a front man, kind of hype man / vocalist. Then they had a dude on electric guitar, and then a dude on a electronic drum kit.
Cool.
That sounds dope.
It was way dope, and each member
Unexpected.
looked like they were having a good time, and I think
yeah.
that's important to a show.
Right.
Because then
We were just kind of talking about that before you guys wrapped.
that feeds off of the crowd, and vice versa. So, and they played. Their set was supposed to end at 1 something or something. I don't know. They went over their time.
So you guys didn't get home till like 4.
3:30.
Wow. Long day for you on Friday, I bet, Brandon.
It's okay. I've done it before, and I'm sure I'll do it again.
Yep,
Yeah.
same here.
Totally.
I've done 0 sleep after a show.
So when you say the crowd was awesome, I know it's a big deal for you to have a great atmosphere at shows.
Mhm.
Iowa City, college town, Iowa, the University of Iowa down the street. I mean,
Well, I mean, I think there's a lot of factors that went into because it was a light show. I mean, the Cubs were playing that night. There were also Halloween parties at bars because it was Thursday night in Iowa City before the weekend. So there were a lot of other activities going on for the students to partake in. So if they aren't familiar with Infected Mushroom or electronic music, the likelihood of them going to that show, they probably...
There was a pretty good amount of people there, though, just not as packed as other Blue Moose shows.
Exactly.
And we had a bunch
Okay,
of
but
friends
that's not
surprise us.
necessarily a bad thing because sometimes we go on Blue Moose and it is a
way
sweat
too
pit.
packed, yeah.
It is a
It was a sweat pit.
It was a
sweat pit, but
yeah.
it wasn't like a jam-packed, like,
You couldn't move, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some electronic music acts there, and it's just like you can't move, you can't dance, and you're just crammed in between two dudes, and you're just like, can't
we were
move.
pretty crammed between dudes, but those dudes were our friends who, like,
You were intentionally cramming each other.
Yeah, shout out to the Festy fam that came to, because we had a whole car full of people from Cedar Rapids that ended up showing up, like Niemer, Michael,
cool.
Spencer, who
Kyle.
else? Yep, Kyle.
Dang.
Yeah, so a whole bunch of Festy fam came, and that made it that much better and more special. So, it was just a really good time, and like I said, their set went so long, and it was really easy to follow and participate and dance all night long.
Cool.
I
It
mean,
was a
do you
very
ever-
jumpy set.
It was.
just like,
I was jumping.
like all the build-ups to the drops were just very like, it just reminded me of like electronica from the 90s or something. Like
Well,
he's
that-
just like timing. He's like,
Okay.
everybody jump with me, and then it's like,
But he did.
jump.
Yeah.
Jump.
I think one difference is that, nowadays, like, we were talking about chain smokers and stuff.
Yeah.
Those people will be like, okay, on the count of 3, let's jump. There was none of that.
Yeah.
And Infected Mushroom?
Yeah.
No, there was a lot of jumping.
No.
But no
like,
countdown.
on the mic.
Oh yeah, he wasn't counting up to
You
Yeah.
didn't have to tell the crowd that things are about to go down.
He was just like, this is a jump part. You know it. I know it. We all know it.
Yeah, and there was no call out of that, and that's one of the reasons that I think I enjoyed the
That's
show more.
yeah, because I can't stand people who are like hype men who are just like, all right, guys, if you're fucked up, make some noise. You're like,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
all my bitches out there, show them titties. It's like,
Major Laser and Forest.
oh.
So stupid.
We've dipped into that pool before, but let's touch base on that.
Did
real
that
quick.
actually happen?
That really happened.
Dude,
What?
So Major Laser Electric Forest at Ranch Arena. I went there with my buddy Connor. I think these guys.
We were all there, we just weren't together.
Yeah. And
Did he seriously say,
first he was
Listen,
like,
listen.
okay, everybody that's not a real Major Lazer fan, y'all can just leave. Only the real Major Lazer fans stay. And, a bunch of people left because nobody's a real Major Lazer fan. He doesn't have real fans. He just has people that, like,
Heard that one song on the radio.
Yeah. And they're like, dude, play Lean On. Yeah, okay. And then
We just
after
played
that,
like 4 times.
everybody was like, I was like, no, I'm going to stay here for a little bit. I mean, I'm not a true fan, but I still want to get down,
yeah.
And then probably 5 to 10 minutes after that, he was like, okay, all the women in the crowd, all the ladies, take your shirts off on the count of 3. Like something exactly like that. And everybody's just like looking around at each other like, what the fuck? Because the theme of Forest that year too was supposed to be like women empowerment. So Major Lazer's telling everybody to like take their fucking
He's
shirts
basically
off.
all the women, yeah.
He's being like
demeaning
super
women.
misogynistic
Yeah.
and fucking degrading. And then
I mean, not to say that I haven't seen titties at a festival,
Right.
but
And
for an
the worst
act to say, hey, all the bitches, show your tits. Like,
dude,
come
he's
on.
just resorting to gimmicks. When
Yeah,
it should be
totally.
about music. And there were some people that took off their shirts, and I'm all about boobies too. It's just like focus on the music.
Yeah.
And then once he came to the countdown, and maybe like 4 out of 4,000 people threw their shirts.
Dude, I love. There's
A
like
bunch
so
of
many. Sorry to interrupt. Real quick, you just brought that up. There's so many good pictures of like when the shirts are being thrown, of like literally a dozen shirts, and there were like 5,000 people there.
Easily.
Like-
and I just looked around, and everybody's like shaking their heads, and I'm just like, fuck you, dude. I put my middle finger up, and then me and Connor, this girl that we met at Major Lazer that was just as pissed off with his antics that we were like, fuck this, like, dude, let's go to Sherwood and go see the Disco Biscuits. So
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah.
we just left Major Lazer, dude. But I was glad that we were there for that moment, so I had such a fucking funny story to tell.
Dude, no, totally. We ended up staying a little bit later than that too, just because we didn't go to Disco Biscuits. But anyway, Blue Moose overall. The Infected Mushroom show was awesome.
Yeah,
Thursday night.
I highly recommend seeing their set to anyone. Actually,
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I mean, it's a set to catch if they're on a festival lineup or something like that.
Yeah.
Another
The light show. I don't think you guys touched base on that yet.
The light
Was it
show?
cool?
I mean,
was there like lasers at all?
No lasers.
Okay.
But
There weren't?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Anyway.
No. Earlier in the week, actually the night before, I went to another show. I went to Widespread Panic, and they were in Ames. And I went to that show by myself, and I had a hell of a time. It was amazing. That was my first Panic show. And I went there because I missed Widespread Panic 2 years ago at summer camp. They were playing a bunch of sets at summer camp, and I really wanted to catch their set. And I didn't, and everyone was like, oh man, Panic was all right, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But I wanted to catch their set. So they were playing at Stevens Auditorium in Ames, going on at 7:30 on a Wednesday. I roll up to Ames, and they are having a tailgate party. For Widespread Panic. There are
That's awesome.
tents and vendors. There are people hawking T-shirts and pins.
It's like a whole lot scene
So
for
cool.
Widespread Panic.
And-
So for kids at home, Widespread Panic is kind of like Fish, right? Like they have this amazing
They're
following.
like Rocky Jam, and they do have a big following.
Humphreys, Fish.
They are a jam band, but with, I would say, more rock and roll influence that can take a psychedelic trip.
Mm-hmm. One of the heavier quote unquote jam bands.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in the lot, like, I just wanted to chill for a little bit and stuff, but there was no chilling in the lot because 4 party buses were rolling up. And,
Oh, wow.
And-
people are taking it to the extreme.
oh yeah. So I go in, and my seat is literally on the balcony. So I'm
So
not on the
Stevens
floor.
Auditorium is a seated venue?
It is. It's exactly, for listeners out there that aren't familiar with it, or people in Des Moines, it's exactly like the Des Moines Civic Center, except with 2 balconies and opera boxes.
3,000 people can fit in there, though?
I don't know the capacity, but it's
Okay.
bigger than that. It's bigger than the Civic Center.
Wow.
And I was on the balcony, the first balcony, so I overhung maybe the back of the mezzanine. Anyway, I was directly in the middle, had this amazing view, and I was just getting down, and there were like diehard Panic fans in the front, and they came out about shows at 7:30, about 7:40, and they played until 11:15 and had 1.5 hour break.
Dang.
Yeah, dude. And it was, I really have a lot of respect
No
for them.
openers?
No openers.
Cool. That's really cool.
It is really cool. I have a lot of respect for them. They had over 65 lights, because I counted, and then they had 3 light boards that had different things on
That's
there.
cool.
That in terms of what was shown on the boards, they had like trippy kaleidoscope stuff.
Whoa.
And towards the end, before like the end, there was like this somber like tempo song, and they put Gorilla on there. And I'm like, oh my god, these bitches know what's up. Rest R.I.P. Harambe.
Shout out to friend Brandon Powell, who actually went as a gorilla last night, or Harambe.
Yeah, really. Well, dude, like he needs to have. Did he have a baby with him?
I don't know. I don't think so.
They actually have a costume online. It's a Harambe costume.
Does it
It's
come
a
with-
baby,
with
but
it
it's
come-
called like Gorilla Savior. or something.
Wow.
Gorilla Savior.
Because Harambe's already trademarked. Like, that's hilarious.
That is great. Well, the Panic show was a lot of fun, and I would highly recommend Panic to anyone that wants to see them again on a festival lineup or individually. If you like jam and you like rock and roll, I mean, these are your fellas to follow.
I love how you went to this show on a Wednesday night, an hour or 45 minutes away at Ames, and just went by yourself. Like, that's so cool to hear.
Yeah.
I wanted to see it, and
Didn't exactly have a crew with you to check it out on a Wednesday night, but you still went. That's cool.
Mhm.
Something cool about Panic is my coworker actually went, and it was his birthday Wednesday.
Oh, really?
And it was one of his favorite bands, Widespread Panic. His favorite band actually is Humphreys. He's been to 200 Humphreys shows.
That's a lot.
200.
That's how it gets in the jam scene, though. It's not like, oh, have you seen String Cheese? Have you seen Humphreys? Have you seen Panic? It's just like, how many times have you seen it?
Yeah.
And like fish heads, too, are the worst about that, I think.
Oh, God.
They
Friend of
take
the
their-
show, Mary, is a fish head
Oh,
officially.
yeah, she sent these Snapchats last
Recently,
night.
yeah.
She was in Vegas seeing fish.
She spends all her money on PTO on seeing fish, but hey,
Why
I
not?
can't hate.
Fucking good crowd from what I hear, dude.
Yeah.
And they have really good music. It's just like, you have to be into it.
I would enjoy going to a fish show.
Yeah.
Because
I saw
I mean,
them once,
I like
but-
Guster, and
Guster is so
I
good.
don't know any of their tracks by name. I've been trying to get into fish lately. I just haven't really.
I would totally.
Time.
They are on my bucket list. I would see Fish,
They're really good musicians.
I mean, I've been seeing Umphreys for over 10 years now. I've seen Umphreys and following Umphreys.
I've seen them a couple times. Really good.
Yeah, my first time was when I was like a freshman in college, and that's like over a decade
People
ago.
give the genre jam band like so much crap too. Like,
Hold up.
I disagree.
I think a lot of people do.
I think a lot more people are open to it now because they are a mainstay in all festivals. Like even Electric Forest is blowing up. They have to expand it to 2 weekends.
True.
And it's all focused around jam.
I will say that I have a lot of respect for people who are in quote unquote jam bands who just improvise live, because that takes a lot of skill, and you have to kind of go off of the people you're performing with. Like Iodo, aren't they?
Straight up. That's what came to my mind.
Yeah,
I've seen them a couple times.
Even then, that's just a 2-piece, so it's just basically Michael Travis and Jason Hahn having to keep time with each other. It's not like any other sort of jam band where it's 5-6 musicians that are all trying to stay.
And aren't those two artists from
String Cheese?
String Cheese, yeah, that's so cool.
They're the percussionists. They're the drum kit drummer. That'd be Michael Travis, and then Jason Hahn plays all the percussion and a lot of additional percussion in String Cheese.
Cool. Yeah. When you think of jam band, who was the first band that comes to your mind then?
Grateful Dead. Yeah.
Grateful Dead. Good call out.
I was gonna say Umphreys just because
Umphreys.
But Grateful Dead is like the original.
Probably String Cheese just because like Forest.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just can't. I tried listening to their Cheese, like just their actual music, and it's not the same as like seeing them live.
I think the same could be said for almost any jam band.
Okay,
yes, I will agree.
I second that too. So
because a live setting is just way more,
They do the riffs and stuff.
That's the thing. The riffs hit you. They're impactful.
And they feed off the crowd's energy too, so they kind of get a read on like what the crowd is feeling. They're not just like playing tracks. They're like, ooh, I feel like this crowd is like tripping pretty hard, so let's make it like kind of psychedelic and slow and down tempo,
this crowd's on a bunch of coke. Like they're ready to get down
tempo. Let's make some heavy
rock and roll.
Let's just play some like 200 BPM.
Yeah,
that's why I like Umphreys too, though, because I would consider them like if you were kind of into metal before you got into like the festival music scene. I feel like Umphreys would be the jam band that you would get into if you were kind of a metalhead before.
Interesting.
I can see that
because they have a lot of like heavier aspects.
So you're saying me as being like a metal like fan or whatever?
Yeah,
I could listen to Umphreys outside of seeing them live and like actually get down to their track.
I think so. Like they're one of the few quote unquote jam bands that I can actually listen to their studio albums and enjoy it.
Okay.
Get down on it.
I know Brandon's a huge fan. 10 years, he just said, like he's been seeing Umphreys. So I might give him a whirl. I mean, whatever. I'm gonna see them at festivals a lot here coming up, just like I have already.
Oh yeah.
There is a very big difference between the album and the live set. I mean that's.
I will totally agree. Specifically, just talking about Umphreys. Yeah, agree.
Yeah. So, boys and girls. This has been episode 50 of the EZPZ podcast. Coming at you swiftly, bigly, hardly. Whatever Trump says, anything with the Lee at the end. But anyway.
China.
Yeah, we're coming at you. We're about to get down. Halloween party with moms, dads. We got boyfriends, girlfriends, cousins. We got the guest list is insane, kids. We've got friends from San Francisco. It's just gonna be so much fun. Denver, Chicago. We got some friends from Hyrule, Mushroom Kingdom, On It, that one DJ town from that one show. Where are you from, Dan?
The real world.
The real world.
The real world, baby.
There we go.
You can find me at Sean S. Johnson. You can find the EZPZ at the EZPZ, Instagram, Twitter. No Snapchat for the EZPZ yet. And if you're listening to this on YouTube, every episode from here on out is going to be on YouTube because I've got that fast internet, baby. Ooh. So, where can they find you, Brandon?
You can find me on any social network site at GoldBizzle, G0LDBizzle. Boom.
Hey, guest that has pretty much been on more than any other guest. Alex, where can they find you?
My Instagram is funk_velociraptor, and I also play drums in a video game cover band. And we have a Bandcamp, and that's at warpzone.bandcamp.com. So
go to the notes here on YouTube, or go to like the actual website, the EZPZ, and we'll have links in the description for that. Mm-hmm. Dan, where can they find you?
You can find me at Dana Brown backwards with no vowels or on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. That's going to be NWRBLND. And you can find me in the real world.
What the heck? You didn't like give me that like back and forth that we had like last episode where I was like, where can they find you? And then we have Brandon over
Cracked down on 30 seconds.
We have Brandon over here snickering because Daniel's not getting it. Where can they find you, Daniel?
In the real world.
Okay. We're about to go do a Jello shot and we out.